What are you hoping to kind of, so rather than maybe seeing growth, it's mainly about those kind of strategies for reopening. And again, what are you seeing that some of your clients have actually kind of taken as strategies that you think are working, and what are you advising them to kind of to build upon for that reopening phase that we're all thinking about, I think, in this moment?
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Richard, and thanks for having us. I think there's been some great thoughts so far. So I'll try and compliment. Yeah, I mean, I've spent just over a decade in travel as a kind of hotelier with IHG, but also in the kind of service department, short stay rental business. I was a COO, so kind of know the ins and outs of ops challenges, and also on the travel tech side, so kind of corporate travel port, some of those kind of businesses. Yeah, I mean, look, for about the last 18 months, the GrowthWorks has been a kind of dedicated hospitality consultancy, trying to bridge the gap between strategy, commercial operations, and partnership innovation. So we work with big clients like IHG who bring us in usually to do kind of partnership approaches, like how should we plug the talent of the proven solutions in the tech industry into our strategy, into our models, and ultimately into our hotels. Obviously, we're now trying to use those same skills to think, well, how can we support our clients like IHG, but also smaller regional chains, right down to very small kind of national units, to actually help with recovery plans, because it's going to be, I think, that same kind of experience and resource and that'll get us out of this. So won't dive into kind of marketing and revenues. It feels like that's been done, but I just wanted to comment a little bit, I suppose, on leadership and approach of what we're seeing. And bluntly, I'm seeing two types of leadership right now. There's very much the I'll think about it later leadership, which is that right now we're in a crisis and I don't care about anything else. It'll come, but I'm just not ready to talk about recovery. But I expect the kind of people that are on this call fall into the second camp, which is actually, the recovery starts now. It's going to be tough. So we may as well start putting what building blocks we can in place to make sure we get out of it. I mean, obviously not to make light of it, the most important thing, and we're seeing across all our clients, is to make sure that the business is protected. So I spoke to an MD this morning who just talked about his business being on ice, as a vacation destination until the UK government says, yeah, hotels can reopen, people can leave their homes. Not a lot he can do. But there's really four elements to that protection. One is just team. Is your team safe? Are they used to working from home? Have they got the support they need? Are there some kind of learning and development ideas in place? Klaus mentioned their free training. We're seeing loads of great free L&D stuff out there. Your communication with them, absolutely essential, sharing what you know and to an extent what you don't know. Second priority, obviously finance, seeing a lot of just kind of pushing back on payments, making sure that you've modeled, if this is a sustained downturn, can you see it through? No one wants to see people's businesses disappear. Thirdly is partners. We're seeing a lot of people, as Charlie says, part of it's revisiting your relationships and your terms, but actually a lot of it is just quite openly talking to them about the situation you're in, and obviously, protecting any cash flows and not letting any money out the door. But one thing we really encourage is don't burn any bridges. Leave that door open that your partners can form a part of your recovery plan as well. We've certainly seen a couple of clients who, probably led by procurement, have gone really hard on suppliers, which just means it's going to be really tough in terms of goodwill and capacity as and when they want to kind of dig themselves out of it, and including everything from cleaning companies and tech companies and distributors as well. And then the last priority, of course, on the protect theme is got to be your guests. So hopefully most of the cancellation policy stuff has been done. Have a look at whether that worked. We're seeing people going, actually, I really didn't handle it that well, but we've still got lots of forward bookings, as Angelique was showing us in the data. So if you're going to go through a second wave of cancellations, what went well? What do you leave behind? Again, a lot more people are moving to gift vouchers and delayed trips rather than a blanket knee-jerk cancellation, which potentially we saw in the first kind of wave. So the clients we think are going to come back strongest, I think the only way we can describe it, and I think it's probably pretty common now, is I think people are doing kind of years worth of strategy work, years worth of work in just a few days, in just a few weeks. And all I can say is, as much as it doesn't kill us, can we have that same energy and can we have that same innovation on the way up? Right, because we all move mountains to, you know, change business models, blow up ways of working, get everyone safe, and get, you know, react to our consumers in a way we've never done before. You know, what could we harness about that to get that kind of energy kind of on the way up? So we've noticed just three really simple things in clients that we're seeing building recovery plans now, and I guess I'll just kind of quickly share those. One is, you know, being flexible. Yeah, we're not an industry that's known for creativity or agility. If we're honest, we've talked about doing tech for 20 years, and we don't really. But you know, keep that flexibility in place. You know, have some monitoring in place. You know, your own data, external data, like the stuff we were seeing earlier. What can you learn and read about from markets coming back online, like China, but you know, or kind of parts of Europe now? What are hotels trying? What's worked? What's failed? Also look at other sectors. You know, there's great blogs from, you know, the airline industry, the fast food industry, people trying to understand some of these new consumer trends. Well, what are people really going to care about? Will people take the middle seat? Won't they? Will restaurants have to have lower occupancy? Or and it'll kind of depend by segments. So within that flexibility, you know, plan a couple of scenarios for yourself. You know, we definitely talk about moving from plans and forecasts to scenarios. What are the big things you want doing in the next 3 months? What are, you know, all the considerations and ideas that you could approach, and what signs are you going to watch for as and when demand comes back? And yeah, we definitely talk about getting a way to bring in ideas from your team. You know, I'll talk a little bit about what to get out of your team, but finding a platform, whether it be a Trello board or whatever, where people can throw in, you know, new ideas around your different priorities, whether that be new sources of revenues, whether that be domestic leisure, whether that be, you know, restaurants and bars. Pick your priorities and then to get people to throw ideas at it that you can quickly turn into tests. So stay flexible, number one. Number two is be deliberate. Again, this is not going to happen by accident, and it's not going to happen in functions. You know, it doesn't take, you know, a very big chain to suddenly be like, that's sales' job, that's marketing job. But every single priority that I can see on the horizon is going to take everyone. You know, if you just take you know, new cleaning standards, we've seen some of the big chains get ahead of it, not because they're running at 100% occupancy, but because they know that's the marketing message that for them, they want to try to give guests confidence to come back, right? Okay, if we do these cleaning things really well, let's let the corporates know, get it out on our channels, let's get people on our direct website and tell them what we're going to do. That's a multi-function effort. And again, if we're honest, not always great as an industry of working across teams. So you have that kind of deliberate effort. Functions we absolutely recommend having involved. One is kind of your finance guy and your data guy, which is just, you know, how robust is the business? What capacity, if any, can we, you know, spend any money? And of course, data around monitoring what's coming next. Marketing, commercial, ops, technology, and someone from your people team. You know, it's really about that small group meeting regularly to move things fast from what are the priorities to what are the ideas to, frankly, you know, what can we experiment on? You know, if you've got more than one hotel, you know, stick plexiglass at one check-in, trial, you know, touchless check-in at another, do masks and gloves at another, and just get customer surveys, be like, what's driving confidence? And this is where you know, any hotels that are still open for key workers, they're learning so much faster than everyone else because they're really getting a sense of, you know, what is the kind of hospitality of the next 6 months in terms of needs. So yeah, I'm sure that your team will generate tons of ideas. We're seeing, you know, alternative revenues. We're seeing people remap their guest journey. What are all the physical touch points from, you know, the buffet to the lift to check-in to pre-stay that we need to be giving more information or letting people have a touchless thing. We're seeing people, you know, repaint the back stairs and saying there's a voucher if you'll take you know, the stairs instead of the lift on the first few floors. Again, all of these different things. But it's going to be bespoke to you, because if you have 2 elevators in 30 stories in Manhattan, you know, you don't have many rooms on those first few floors. So it's all about being bespoke. And then, so be flexible, be deliberate. Last one is be collaborative. Again, internally, it's going to take every function, But externally, what we're seeing is just the energy across the industry is such a ray of optimism, like just people getting together and picking up the phone to, different partners and academia's getting involved. And we're seeing all kinds of free materials and great advice out there. Almost every partner that we work with, people like Triptease, are saying, look, we'll grab an hour on the phone with anyone. If they just want to hear about how we can help, we don't just need to go on webinars with 300 people. Like, someone on Charlie's team will probably give you their time one-on-one and talk about a solution for your hotel. And we're seeing that, and by the way, we do that too. Yeah, we're seeing that right across the board. And it's an amazing time to be exposed to these external ideas that could help you, or at least trigger a few thoughts. So assign the team on who's going to research what, and make sure that your team have got, support, mentors, contacts that they can reach out to around the industry, and start harnessing that stuff through collaboration. And I think those three elements of leadership are what we're seeing that are going to make the big difference in the next 6 months, whichever tactics end up being right for your particular, hotel or chain.